Should Christians celebrate Halloween? Dun, dun, dun.
Kenyan Hippie.
Hello everyone, horo wanyu, habari zenu, guten tag, como esta, konnichiwa, and all the other greetings. It is me back with a new video. Anyways, can you guys tell who I am? Leave in the comments if you know who this is. It's my favorite costume. We shall be talking about something that always stirs up a lot of discussion around this time of year. And by this time of year, I mean Halloween, which was technically yesterday, but this idea occurred to me this morning, so you're gonna have to forgive me. And you're going to be watching this 2 days after the fact. So happy Sunday to y'all. Halloween, Halloween. I just love Halloween, Halloween.
I have one rule,
Oh, then that's the rule you'll have to break to know the truth.
which is
The only sensible way to live in this world is without rules. And tonight you're gonna break your one rule.
Should Christians celebrate Halloween? Dun, dun, dun. Before I dive in, let me give you a little bit of context about where I'm coming from. I was raised in a Christian family, but Halloween was never a big deal for us. Where I grew up in Kenya, the holiday was not celebrated much, at least not by the time I left Kenya in 2013. Now there are parties here and there, especially where there is a huge tourist crowd or in the metropolitan areas like Nairobi. There was no trick-or-treating, no haunted houses, no creativity, no costumes filling the stores. My parents knew I liked the idea of it. I actually got suspended in high school for causing ruckus on Halloween night. In my defense, it was a dare from the seniors, aka the Form 4s. I was in Form 3, which is my third year in high school, and someone dared me to go and scare the deputy principal. And I am not a quitter. So I got suspended because she the whole school kind of came out and there was a whole thing. It was like in a girls' boarding school, so it was a whole thing. Damn, those years, eh? My dad could not stop laughing his ass off. He thought it was very hilarious. My mom was not very amused. I loved the colors, the creativity, the atmosphere, the masks, the costumes. And my parents were not too strict about it. It was just something foreign and mildly interesting. Not something to worry about. Fast forward to today. I live in America where Halloween is huge. It's one of the biggest holidays in the country. Streets lined with skeletons, pumpkin patches on every corner, haunted houses, which I have been to one. I am never doing that again, y'all. My rational brain was not functioning. It's like you rationally know something will jump scare you. You rationally know these are people in costumes, but the terrified part of my brain was not compounding. So I just screamed the whole tour, and my husband had to hold on to me because my legs were too weak to But you go if you like being jump scared. Do you like horror movies? You'll enjoy a haunted house, okay?
Good luck.
These haunted houses are so elaborately done. They could pass for a movie set, some of them. Retailers make billions, obviously, because commercialization in America. And some neighbors transform into full-blown horror villages. But what really caught my attention was seeing how even churches here get involved in activities such as trunk or treats, which I've taken my children to, where they go and get candy or little trinkets, and then of course they interact with people. The family-friendly Halloween alternatives are meant to keep the scary stuff out while letting kids have fun. And honestly, I don't have a single issue with it. I enjoy the community vibe, the creativity, and even a little bit of the spooky aesthetic. But I've always been curious about how others view it, especially Christians and pagans, since both have some pretty strong historical ties to what Halloween used to be. So let's unpack that. Historically, Halloween traces back to Samhain. Here's the spelling. An ancient Celtic festival marking the end of harvest season and the beginning of winter. It's why you see the pumpkin patch. It's a very huge Scandinavian holiday as well.
You may have heard that Halloween is evil, but that is far from the truth. Before it became Halloween, this night was called Samhain, the most sacred festival of the Celtic year. And it wasn't about horror or fear. It's about reflection, release, and remembering those who came before us. At this time, the veil grew thin between the worlds, the spirit world and the physical world. And people didn't party to get away from the darkness. They celebrated the darkness as part of the cycle of life. And that is the part that's been forgotten.
Also, I'm going to do a quick shout out. If y'all have not heard of him yet or seen his content yet, please go give David a follow. David Christensen, he's an amazing creator, was born and bred Christian, is now an eclectic pagan like myself. He has really good content, very reflective. He's an amazing spirit, amazing soul. So please go check him out. He has a lot of content about his journey from Christianity to neo-paganism. He explains a lot of pagan holidays and what they mean, a lot of spirituality, finding your path and all that stuff. I'm going to link his Instagram and his TikTok in the description area. Thank you so much, David, for your insights. It was a time when people believed the veil between the living and the dead was thin. So they would light bonfires and wear costumes to ward off spirits. You might have heard of this because November 2nd, again, the day I released this, is also Dia de los Muertos, a Mexican holiday, which is the Day of the Dead. When Christianity spread through the Celtic regions, the church tried to reframe the celebration as All Hallows Eve, the night before All Saints' Day, meant to honor holy people who had passed away or passed on. Over centuries, the traditions blended. The fires, the costumes, the remembrance of the dead, all became a part of what eventually evolved into Halloween. I know, interesting, right? For many Christians, the concern comes from that pagan origin. But if we're going to keep it real, a lot of these traditions, a lot of people like to celebrate, have pagan origins. So I think it's a bit hypocritical to be saying Halloween is evil, yet it has its roots in, again, a pagan holiday, but you embrace Christmas. Some Christians see Halloween as glorifying darkness or inviting evil spirits. Pastors might warn against celebrating it because it seems to conflict with biblical teachings about staying away from witchcraft or sorcery. And from that angle, it makes sense why some families will entirely just avoid the holiday altogether. But then again, Halloween today, at least in the US, isn't really a religious celebration at all. It's pop culture. It's kids dressing as superheroes, neighbors sharing candy, people decorating their front lawns for fun. It's like Christmas lights, but orange. And instead of pines and needles, you have cobwebs and spiders and lanterns. So some Christians see it as just harmless fun. They might say it's okay as long as your intention is not to celebrate darkness, but to connect with your community. That's why the trunk or treat events are so common. They are a way to create a safe space for children while still allowing them to enjoy the festivities. From my perspective, I see Halloween as a time of reflection. Samhain for me is a spiritual moment, a time to honor nature's cycles. But I also appreciate how the modern holiday brings people together. I can sit comfortably in both spaces, one spiritually meaningful, the other one purely cultural. So should Christians celebrate Halloween? I think it depends on their convictions. If someone feels uneasy about that, it's very valid. Faith is personal, and no one should feel pressured to participate in any kind of event. But for others who see it as a chance for joy and creativity and fellowship, I do not see the harm in that either. At the end of the day, Halloween means different things for different people, as a lot in life. It can be sacred, it can be silly, it can be spooky, or it can be social. What matters is being mindful about why you're celebrating it, what energy or intention you're bringing to it. So what about you? Were you raised to celebrate Halloween or avoid it? How do you see it now as someone who's grown up? Do you see it through a cultural lens, a spiritual lens, or both? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I would love to hear from you. Especially, I would love to hear both thoughts of Christians and pagans. Thanks for watching. If you liked this conversation, do not forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share on other good stuff. Hit that bell for more thought-provoking content. I love y'all. Kenyan Hippie out.